What are y'all doing? Mason, what are you doing? You what? You washing? Landon. Landon. Landon!
Largest, the biggest.
Alright, y'all, welcome back. So this should be part 2, I guess, episode 2. We're gonna start off by getting these dips back together. As you see, has some parts down there, some parts over there, parts up here, parts over here. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and bust this knuckle off, press the ball joints out, get the new ones in. Same thing with that knuckle. While they're out, we'll go ahead and change the seals, and I'll go ahead and put the pocket locker in there. And after all that's done, we'll go ahead and bolt these back on and put the axles in and the wheel bearings and the front hubs. There's also parts over here, might be, but these boxes and all this. So throw these away. We're gonna put a different one in them. I think it's plus or minus 1 degree. Since we're gonna have lift springs on it, we already know it's gonna try and roll the caster forward. So we're gonna just counteract that by putting a minus 1 degree turn in it, or plus 1, whatever. But we're gonna change it. Got the knuckles back on. That was obtained, so I just skipped over it because there would have been too many cuss words and stuff like that. But we've got the ball joints changed and the knuckles on, and we decided to pull the carrier out to put that locker in, so that's what we're working on now. Alright, y'all, I know I told y'all I was gonna, you know, get some action footage, but it's been a day, so we fought everything, which is typical. You know, I know people want to see that, and I should have videoed it, but there's just so much going on and so much background noise and radio and stuff like that. It would have been bad footage anyway. So little update, here we are. We got the little pocket locker in. This side's all wrapped up, you know, new but that one was good. New ball joints, new seals, new wheel bearing, new hub, and all that. Over here, same thing. Well, this wheel bearing's old but new. Now it was on there, but it was supposed to be a new one. So, but as you can see, the locking hub is not in there because we put a new one in and it stayed locked the whole time, which is not good. So yeah, pulled it back out in a million pieces. But anyway, we'll have to get and see if we can get that sent back. We should have the pinion bearings and stuff for this tomorrow. All right, that's bolted in place. Now we got to drill that hole and that hole. And I got a bunch of bits to step it up because if not, it'll tear them up. But anyway, I'm gonna get those drilled and get those bolted up, and we'll be done with these for now. So I'll move on to some of the front bracketry, and then get this ready to come on over here. I gotta go get some bolts for the spring buckets, but that ain't nothing. Alright y'all, here's a little update. 80% done. I'm doing the pitman arm now for the new ball joints and steering. The rack's done other than painting it. We set it up there yesterday and mounted it. So I'm welding legs on. Definitely gonna have to build front support, which I already knew that, and later on there will be a back support because this thing's heavy and it's gonna have some weight on it. So maybe later today we'll get it sprayed and then get it ready to set back on the vehicle. The front supports and stuff should bolt on, so no more welding. So that's why we're gonna go ahead and spray it, and then after that we'll go from there on whether or not to spray this tank with. Might just bed line it, might spray it with the same stuff. I'm not sure yet, but alright, y'all, we're doing the first drive on the Excursion. I kind of wanted to put it off because this thing's still sitting low in the back waiting on the blocks to come in, and I didn't want to ride around looking like one of those squatted trucks. But I realized that, you know, I need to put some miles on it before taking a 2 to 4 to 5 to however many 1,000-mile trip in it. So look at this ass. So that's what we're doing. It's got a little side to side, which the front diff front housing has a track bar ball joint that's pretty worn out, so that could be it. So I got another ball joint already, and didn't know for sure if I needed to change it or not, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and change it. Re-bleed the brakes. I bled them, but then I found one or two tiny little leaks that I took care of, but I need to re-bleed them again. I mean, it stops, but it's a little spongy. What else? I hear a noise from the right front at above 65. Not sure if it's tire noise or something else. I'll dig into that some and see what I can come up with. But other than that, it just feels pretty sturdy, drives pretty decent. Definitely goes over the bumps and stuff better than the leaf spring front did, so that's a plus. Alright, y'all, we got the rack in here and we're about to give her a spray. Alright, everybody was asking how I was getting fuel down from up there. If I was just gonna run a line on the outside or whatnot. Nah, I got a kit, you know, for your typical auxiliary tank in the bed of a pickup truck that cuts in between the filler hose and all, and puts a spot where it goes in, and a little check valve. I got that done under there. And this this line ran, and it's coming up through here, through there. I'm gonna cut a hole in this little grommet and slide over so it seals back up. And then there's just enough room to snake between the hinge, and I'll tie it up or whatnot, and when it shuts, it'll be fine. So that's how we're doing that. Later on, I'm actually put an electric valve on here, so my switch panel, I can just hit my switch panel and we'll let it flow or turn it off instead of having to come up here and hit the manual valve. So getting that oil changed and ready to head out, huh, buddy? Just saying. Lay in bed, watch TV. Bam! Sitting out grilling, watch TV. Shit. Alright, real quick, this is a post-trip video, but not much has changed. I'm gonna go over a few things to end this video out with. But the blocks in the rear, I need to go a little higher. It's still sitting a little low. So the front ends up being about 4.5. The rear ends up being about 4. So I'm gonna change it out to where it either, I got two options. I can put a 3-inch block and it'll put it even, or slightly above even. I think like maybe a 1/2 inch. Or I can put a 6-inch block and take the factory block out also and just have the one block, and it'll be 1 inch higher in the back, which is fine because I do tow a lot of times with this thing. And there will be a bumper with a spare tire carrier and all that back here, so that's going to add weight and, you know, weight up here on the rack. and fuel and all. I went through like 4 or 5 of the stock style lockers, and they even screwed up on me out in Utah, so I had to pull them out, which y'all will see in another video. But I had to pull them out just to get home. So now I got these mile markers in it, and so far so good, knock on wood. They've been doing great. Oh, also I did not get to put that rear end in with the locker. This is still the stock rear end, because the pinion gear, it did something to the threads, and as I was trying to tighten up on and crush the crush sleeve, it just got to where it would just spin. It didn't pull the threads out, but it must have stretched it or something, because it would just spin and never get tight. So instead of just putting 373s back in, I decided to set it in the corner for now and wait till I get some 430s for it, and then some 430s for the front. So the only difference between the two on the rear is the track width. So I still have the spacers on the rear here, but once I do the other one, I'll have the E-locker, I'll have 430s, and I won't have to run the spacers anymore. Alright, I also wanted to show y'all my temporary battery setup. Back there I got a 300 amp hour 12 volt auxiliary battery, lithium battery, house battery, whatever you want to call it. Under here, this is my hurried up and did it in a few hours because we had to leave setup, but we got 300 amp breaker. This is coming from the truck itself, truck batteries and the alternator. This is another 300 amp breaker that's coming from the battery back there. This is a DC to DC charger, E-Taker F2000. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. It hasn't lived up to what it says it's supposed to do, but that's another video for another day. But it's also an MPPT solar charger that comes in here. This is going to the battery to charge the battery. There's a spot right here that could go to one of them power banks if you have one. All that comes in. Here's your ground bus, here's your positive bus. I got this switch right here that comes to the positive bus. So what it does is it's either pulling off the truck battery and alternator to run to here, or it's pulling off of the auxiliary. I did that so if you're driving down the road on a long trip or whatnot and you need to use the power, you're driving anyway, you might as well use the alternator power to feed this, and this will still charge the battery, so that way when you get where you're going and you have to switch back over, your other battery hopefully is topped off and ready to go. These are obviously just 12 volt plugs for whatever accessories you need to run off that battery. Like I got my cooler back there that runs 24/7 off of that, and then this little thing, that's to go to the Starlink. It's to jump the voltage up from 12 volts to 20 something volts. That's what the Starlink really runs off of, between 20 and 30. I don't remember exactly to tell y'all. But, and then obviously here's a 3000 watt Amazon special inverter for whatever is needed. So soon I'm gonna add at least 200 watts of solar probably to the hood for now, and maybe more up on the roof. But I don't know, plans are changing. I might put a electric AC on this thing so I can sleep in the back this time of the year, any time of the year, and have electric AC. If that's the case, I'll try to put more solar up there. That way it's enough solar power to not only run the AC all day without the vehicle running, but top off the battery so that AC can run at night, which I'll have to add another battery to get through the night, but that ain't a big deal. Or I might not. There's another plans we have on building something else, and that might end up, this might be all this vehicle needs. The other one might need a whole lot more battery and solar, but that's a different plan for a different day. Back here is where I got the battery temporarily mounted. That's where the spare tire went. Originally I was thinking of putting a fuel tank there, but now I got a fuel tank on the roof which measures right about 41 gallons. I don't think I'll need one here. You never know, I might still add one. But if not, I'm gonna build a rack to actually mount this and maybe a second one. Maybe they'll come up here and be side by side and have some other storage or something. But, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Or who knows, I still might do a hybrid where it's partly a tank and hold 2 batteries. You know, I always feel like you can never have too much fuel. It'll always get used at some point. And then I'll also mount the remote switch for the inverter. But yeah, I gotta get that battery charged back up. I have to do some driving around today. Once I put the solar panels on, I won't have to worry about that, but for now. Anyway, y'all like, subscribe, and share, and there'll be more updates coming. So thank y'all for watching.